Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to a brand new run of Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup as a Gargoyle over here. Technically starting as an Earth Elementalist, but we're going to be playing very much as, I think, kind of a Generalist. We're going to see how it goes. This is, I know there's a way, with the Beambot, I know there's a way to get, like, the history over there. This is being played immediately after our unfortunately failed run as a Draconian Air Elementalist. I do still think that we got a little unlucky in some of the loot in that one, and so we're weaker than maybe we could have been, but I know a lot of it does still come down to me not knowing exactly the best way to optimize a pure spellcaster for sort of strength and things like that. Melee I'm starting to get a pretty good handle on, but the spellcasting still has a lot of big question marks around it for me. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, we hit a wall there. We couldn't descend through swamps. We couldn't descend through spider. We couldn't descend through depths. We eventually hit sort of YOLO a thing, and then we got banished by a wizard. Which, I mean, 16% chance isn't high, but we gave him plenty of opportunities to do it. And then he banished us the abyss, which is where we died. And there's probably some things we could have done there, but I think it wasn't. I don't think it was a question of me screwing up the ending. I don't think it was a question of me screwing up the last 30 minutes of gameplay. It was a progressive thing of series of decisions made throughout the game that meant we weren't quite strong enough as we should have been or could have been where we got there. Hopefully that won't be the case this time. We are playing as a Gargoyle. So I did start off as an Earth Elementalist over here. Let's look at our skills and see why that is. So first of all, we do have great aptitude with Earth Magic over here, and more importantly, I would say, is Earth Magic does start with actually a really good killer spell for early in the game in the form of Sandblast. It does massive amounts of damage, specifically things that aren't armored, but it can do really, really, really good damage to things that aren't armored. And that includes things like Ogres. Ogres have a big bucket of hit points, but not a bunch of AC, which means we actually should be very comfortable when we hit our very first Ogre. We'll see how that goes. But Gargoyles overall are interesting because they do make fairly good Generalists. They have, some decent magic aptitudes here and there. Again, spellcasting -1 is pretty common, actually. But, they have a positive to conjurations, earth magic. They're sort of baseline when it comes to fire, ice, and poison, so we've got a lot of options there. Translocations does have a -1, but in terms of just getting access to, say, Blink, for example, that's perfectly fine. Technically, they're pretty good at stealth, although I don't think we're going to be making a stealthy kind of run. Weapon-wise, they have a +1 to fighting, which is fantastic. They also have a +1 to armor and shields, which is great. Their dodging is at a -2, which is a bit unfortunate. Most likely, we'll be getting some ranks in dodging later on, but we'll leave it there as is. Weapon-wise, really, you're going to want to probably make uses of maces and flails. I mean, a -1 isn't unrecoverable if you do find, like, maybe a really sweet artifact or just the ideal brand of some kind. But I don't see that really happening. I think maybe axes, because there's a cross-training bonus between maces and flails, but that's about it. Bows and crossbows were actually pretty decent at, as well as 0. I mean, anytime you got a 0, that is super-duper viable for a race. So we're going to see exactly what things develop, but my idea here is to start with Earth Magic using the really potent Sandblast spell to kill a lot of early threats, but we'll be equipping some armor, shield, and a weapon as soon as we find them, and then hopefully we're going to try to maintain it so that we can still cast spells while in the heavier gear, and we're going to be using spells as a backup to our various other kind of melee strengths. Okay. So in terms of initial build-up, though, I am going to go and only research Earth Magic or study Earth Magic. If we take a look at our spellcasting, 4% with Sandblast isn't bad, although once we put on some armor, that'll go up a bit. But also, in our initial spellbook over here, we have Pass Wall, which I will experiment with probably. I've never played with these spells before, and it'll be interesting to see, but it does let us go through walls, which could be an important escape mechanism. You can also use it for, like, stabby stuff, not that we're doing that here. Stone Arrow is also another fairly potent spell. It does very much like Sandblast, which we'll look at in a second. It does, I believe, it doesn't really describe it here, but I believe AC is, like, maybe doubly effective against this. Maybe it's just static. Maybe it actually doesn't get a bonus. It's not a super long-range spell, it's worth noting. Let's talk about our existing spell, which is Sandblast over here. Yeah, damage is strongly reduced by armor, so it does actually say it there. So maybe with Stone Arrow it doesn't. So this spell is a very high damage level 1 spell. Relatively short range, and it does consume a stone. If you run out of stones, then you won't be able to cast Sandblast anymore. But it does do a lot of damage. The thing is, it's, I believe, triply reduced by armor versus a normal spell, which is just singly reduced by armor. So it's very bad against armored targets, but against non-armored targets, it obliterates them in a very, very sexy way, which is quite cool. let's talk about our abilities as a gargoyle. We are specifically resistant to Torment, which is a spell that you'll get hit a lot, I think, in like, I don't have the wiki open, of course I don't. Like Pan and Hell and things like that, there'll be a lot of torments, so we're more specifically resistant to that, which is good. We also have built-in negative energy resistance of 1 tick, which is great. We also have built-in bonus to AC, which I believe goes up as we level up. Okay, I do have to load up the Gargoyle page to make sure I'm not lying to you about these things. But I think the bonus to AC, yeah, goes up with level. So level 1 and 2 is both a +2. At 3 and 4, they're both +3. Then it's +4. It goes up and up and up. But then it does scale up pretty quickly. By the time we reach level 27, max level, we'll have +20 bonus AC from being a gargoyle, which is pretty excellent. And there's no reason we couldn't wear the heaviest armor here. The only balancing act will be how much armor do we want to wear versus spell casting capabilities. And I'm really going to be looking, I think, for kind of a mid-tier, there we go, mid-tier kind of armor. The dragon armors are pretty good for lower encumbrance and letting you cast spells and things like that. That'd be really good. Of course, if we do find, some sort of crystal plate armor of some kind, then maybe we'll just go fully into that mode. We are immune to poison. Not resistant, 100% immune to poison. Which did make me think, hey, maybe playing a Venom Mage or something like that and dropping a bunch of Mephetic Clouds might be fun. So we might look into that sort of thing. We're also somewhat grounded, being a statue here. So we have a resistance, built-in resistance to electricity. Our elect doesn't stack. It's only got you either have it, either have one level of it or you don't have any of it. So it doesn't stack over here, but it means we don't have to itemize for it, which is good. We don't need to breathe. We are immune to petrification. We are immune to rotting. We are, however, vulnerable to certain spells like Shatter that are specifically meant to like explode statues, for example, because we sort of count as one. There's 2 more things that we need to discuss. First of all, we do actually have, I believe it's minus 20% HP. Leveling bonus. Yeah. We have minus 20% HP from levels. So we're going to have fewer hit points. Now, our defenses, especially with this AC, is going to be really good. The threat will be from things that ignore AC and ignore EV. Things like Smite. Smite is very dangerous to us because it ignores all of our defenses, deals damage directly to our health, and we're not going to have as much of it. So Orcish Priests are going to be one of the scary things early on. The other thing that's interesting with our stone body is not only do we get more AC, we actually get more guaranteed damage reduction. We'll talk about those mechanics later on, but basically, the way AC works is whenever you take damage, you do a die roll from 0 to your AC or 1 to your AC. I'm not sure. I think it's 0 to your AC to see how much gets blocked by your armor. So let's say you have 10 AC and someone hits you for X amount, then you're going to roll a die, and you will ignore from somewhere from 0 to 10 damage from your AC. However, in addition to that, there is something called guaranteed damage reduction, which is especially prevalent on the heaviest armor. For example, crystal plate armor basically has a guaranteed damage reduction of 50%, i.e., while the AC roll is still technically from 0 to whatever your AC is, it actually, if it ends up being lower than 50% of your, well, not 50% of your AC, 50% of the damage that you take. So you will always ignore some portion of the damage you take, which is limited by your global damage reduction, which again, for a robe would be 0%, all the way to crystal plate armor would be 48% normally. So you ignore 48% of the damage that someone deals. It is capped by 50% of your AC. So you're going to ignore either 50% of the attack or 50% of the AC, whichever one is lower in that scenario. As a gargoyle, you get more guaranteed damage reduction. You actually start at 31% with just a robe. Of course, you'll have very low AC, so mostly you'll be limited by your 50% AC cap. And even with crystal plate armor, instead of being at 48%, you'd be at 58%. So all that to say, we're going to be resisting a lot more damage, generally speaking. And whether we wear very heavy armor or relatively light armor, our GDR will trigger a lot more, which is kind of interesting. It'll almost feel like if we've got fairly light base armor, but have a lot of plus AC from magic and things like that, it'll be pretty noticeable. Anyway, I think we are sort of done the prep work over here. We have the one spell right now, which is Sandblast. I'm going to make sure I've got a macro for it on 1, which is correct. So if I hit 1, Z, A, dot, we will target the Sandblast. It does have very short range. If I go into force targeting mode, you can see it's only got a range of 3 tiles right now. And I think that's all it'll ever have. But yeah, so we'll start, well, Auto Explore is a little risky at first, I'm going to explicitly avoid probably the more open area. We'll move over here. I mean, really long hallways are kind of dangerous. I'm just going to close that again. And if you shift and then direction, you'll be okay. All right, so here's a bat. I'm just going to go ahead. It's sleeping, so we can't miss. So I will guarantee kill it with a Sandblast over there. I will rest. We only have 3 magic over here, which is a little bit rough, but there we go. With our background, we do start with, I can't remember, I think with a Gargoyle, you do start with Strength 11. If you start as a Wizard, I think you actually get -1 to your Strength. And we get plus blah, int, and this. I think when we level up, we'll either get Strength or int, which is interesting. When every 4 levels as a Gargoyle, automatically we will get a certain amount of one of those. There we go. We missed once, but then killed him the second time. We are looking to pick up a weapon as soon as possible. Club's not particularly sexy. I'm going to grab it. I'm not going to wield it quite yet, though, because it could be cursed, and it's not that helpful of a weapon. I mean, it's not as bad as with other characters. I'm just going to run back so that I can get my mana back before we come back in there. It's not as bad as with other characters. If I'm wielding a cursed weapon, then, oh well, I'm still casting my spells. I'm hoping he's alone. He's wielding... Is that a blowgun? Oh, it's a club. So, oh, and he's not alone. We gotta play this starting bit as if we were, like, we are a spellcaster. We got a couple advantages by being a Gargoyle, but we're still very squishy. We want to make sure not to take too many risks. Single dagger's okay. Oh, and he's throwing some stuff at us. Let's just go and line of sight him. We'll Sandblast him. That's okay. Dagger's nice and fast and is actually a pretty nice weapon when you don't have any skills whatsoever, which is our situation here. But I am planning on training maces and flails. We're really hoping to pick up an early whip. I'm going to throw a rock here. There is a chance that it'll get consumed during the throw, but it's fairly unlikely. So we'll just go ahead and zap him a couple times. A rat we could probably even kill in unarmed combat. Interesting. We got sort of like a little prison cell layout over here. I wonder if I can just wake one of these guys up. But yeah, I clearly should still stay on manual movement here. Whack you. I could whack you while you were sleeping, and it wouldn't have missed. Wouldn't get it. Same thing there. I'm clicking a little too fast. Okay, there's a lot of crap over there, and we'll run out of mana spamming these guys with Sandblast. Like, we'll probably, you know, assume misses aside, we'll kill 1 per cast. But we only have 5 casts. I could memorize Pass Wall at this point, which I guess I will. And I don't have a lot of... Okay, you're awake. Hopefully you're the only one. The Dart Slug could also be a little dangerous because of its range. I'm going to sit here. Just try to... There you go. Pull him towards me. Dart Slug is aware that there's something going on here and is being attracted over here. So, that should be fine. Again, it does have range attacks, clearly. Oh, it might have no longer continued over here. There's a Dark Slug. It's just out of range. It might shoot us as I run back here. But I don't want to move forward because I don't want to engage the other guy. So this will go faster soon, but not quite yet. I'll just fling some rocks. Maybe we'll get lucky for some damage. No. Here we go. We hit him with the spell again and just whacked him in 1. And I'm feeling fairly confident about just moving up here. We'll let the bat maybe come close to us. Come on. Come at me, bro. There you go. Eat that. Bats are not always killed in 1 shot of Sandblast because they are fairly dodgy. No, I don't want to attack barehanded. Well, I probably could, honestly. I could just grab the club. And if it's cursed, it's not the end of the world. It's not going to be a bad curse. And having my hands full is okay. You know what? I'll go ahead and equip the club. That's going to be fine. We will wield the club. Just +0. There we go. So we can bash some things on the head. We still haven't found any armor. And I'm definitely looking forward to picking up some armor. Done. There's some leather armor. Which, again, could be cursed, but... Wait, hold on, I'm confused. Did I not? There you go, pick you up. Put the leather armor on. There we go. We'll drop the robe. So our C is now 5. If we take a look at our spell casting, we're still at 4% with Sandblast. Which, I mean, we probably dropped it down to 2% with our skill ups, but this is going to be okay. So now we've got armor and a melee weapon. Not a very good melee weapon. Again, I'm somewhat tempted... Ow, dude. I'm somewhat tempted to pick up the... I don't think he can open doors. So we'll just close this. To pick up the dagger, just for the speed of the attack early on, while being untrained. And I think it's better than the club. But that's alright, we'll do this. We're going to kill you. I think neither one of those present much of a threat. Oh, something else I forgot to mention. When we hit level 14, we will get permanent flight. I mean, we can toggle it on and off, which is going to be important for things that hit us with airstrike, but we will be able to fly all the time. Sure, actually, just have to wait. Sandblast you, maybe? Okay, there we go. We're actually killing him this time. This is a little scary because I'm backing off to an area where I haven't fully identified everything, but there you go. Would have been nice to have a pillar around so that I can just run around that instead of running backwards into things, but it's okay. All right, so now we get the first question of what do we increase, our strength, our intelligence, or our dex? We're likely not going to be increasing the dex, even though evasion is really nice, and you know, dex plus dodge is a pretty good way to do that. Probably, at least for now, we're going to boost intelligence because I do want to be pretty reliable with my spells, even though I am talking about using melee weapons and a few things like that. Higher strength will make us be able to wear higher tier armor with less of a failure chance, but int also does that while also increasing our spell casting. You know what? Maybe I will boost the strength. I don't think we're going to need infinite strength, but it will still help, and when we do start meleeing things, we'll do more damage. And again, the strength isn't a total loss, even from a spell casting point of view, because it will allow us to wear heavier armor and not get a penalty to spell casting as much. Now, there's never a point where you stop having a penalty to spell casting or whatever from your armor. It's I don't remember the math. It's something like 1 over strength divided by 5. Something like that, or 3 or some damn thing. But what it means is that the more strength you have, the less of a penalty your armor will be providing to you, both in terms of evasion and spellcasting and whatnot, but it never goes away completely. But the first few points of strength are the best. And a lot of people sort of eyeball something like, when you look at a piece of armor, it's got an encumbrance rating, and a lot of people eyeball encumbrance rating plus a little for strength to really kind of maybe, you know, get to the point where at that point, okay, you're maybe more interested in boosting intelligence or dexterity or something like that for defensiveness rating or spellcasting. If you're pure melee, then going all strength all the time is fine. So for this, I'm going to target like a strength of, I don't know, 6 or something. So we've got 12, so really we're going to get almost nothing from our strength to improve our spellcasting or evasion with leather armor. But I am hoping to find more armor. We haven't, like, skipped any, have we? Nope. Okay. Is it going to be like a weird game where, like, we don't get much in the way of drops? I don't know. We'll see. One thing I'm looking forward to in this version of Trunk is to see the new ghost behavior, which is ghosts are now going to be locked in these sort of vaults. They're not just open and running around. A couple of altars here. Oh, you're running away. Why are you... Wait, I'm confused. Why are you running away instead of trying to path towards me? That was very bizarre. Okay. So yeah, they're locked in vaults. You have to choose to open them, but they might be in with something. And also, you know, you can choose not to fight them. You still might want to fight them because they're worth good XP, but you can pick and choose. One thing that's different, though, is apparently they can now climb stairs as a result. So ghosts were always sort of an optional thing, because you could mostly just always run away from them because they didn't follow you upstairs. So now they're made explicitly optional. That is a lot of altars. So I'm thinking we might get a corrupted vault here, since we're seeing so many altars as is. Those worms do have higher AC, and maybe the stones aren't the best. So to encourage this sort of generalist kind of vibe, I was thinking of worshipping Ashinzari this time. Ash is very cool. It's actually one of my favorite gods thematically. She doesn't say here. This knowledge. I don't see a gendered pronoun anywhere. I'm gonna go with she, because Ash, I don't know, I think probably because of League of Legends or something like that, it's sort of screwing me up. Wants you to wear cursed items, but gives you a lot of extra knowledge about the world, and also helps you gain a bunch of... The more cursed you are, the more Ash supports your skills. You'll get a bunch of extra XP for your skills, depending on what you wear. For example, if you are wearing a bunch of cursed jewelry, so your amulet and your rings, if they're cursed, you'll get a bunch more spell casting. Weapons will give you weapon skill, and so on and so forth. The more curse stuff you wear, the faster you will gain piety. And then at the end here, you can actually transfer your skill points from one category to another and make some pretty dramatic changes over there. And anyway, all this seems pretty fun. I think she also lets you see invisible. So we're going to go ahead and worship Ash. So a few things happen right away. We automatically know if something is cursed or not. So for example, we know that this thing is uncursed. The other thing is it automatically identifies potions of remove, or scrolls of remove curse, which we don't have any right now, but they're automatically ID'd. And with scrolls of remove curse, we can still cast them normally to remove curses, although it will give us the choice of what to uncurse. It won't just automatically uncurse everything. But we can also consume a scroll of remove curse to curse one of our items. Now, it's a little early, really, for any of this to kick in yet. You do get a piety from Ash just by doing exploration. So, you know, we're going to get some piety just as we go around here. But it'll really kick into high gear if we start wearing some cursed stuff. All right, Earth Magic is there. Are we level... Yeah, we're actually level 4. So I'm going to memorize Stone Arrow. But you can see our casting chance on it is still really poor. Now, we could improve that by not wearing as much heavy stuff, by doing various trainings. Probably... I will want to stop the Earth Magic after a bit and branch off on a couple other things. Probably as soon as we actually find a useful weapon, we might switch away completely from Earth Magic at that point and just see about reaching min delay. Like something like Whip, I think you only need a 12 for min delay, which is really fairly easy to get. Now, I don't remember, we're wearing Ring Mail, which is encumbrance rating of 7. This is encumbrance rating of 10, so it's even more potent, but I might not do it right now because the failure rates are kind of so I think we'll hold off a bit on upgrading to that. Things might change if we get something magic. Anyway, I'll throw some stones over here. And actually, I should probably just equip this sling. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to equip the sling. I could relabel some things, but it's not important right now. Even in melee, you can just sling things, and early on, slings do huge amounts of damage. If we can find sling bullets, I don't know if we've seen any yet. No. Sling stones do 2 damage, sling bullets do 4. You do get bonus damage from your hunting sling itself and things, but the point is, if you get sling bullets, you can actually rip people apart really fast. So when they're up in melee, mostly I'm going to be hitting them with Sandblast because it's a good short-range tool. Now, we do have the whip over here, so what we're going to do is we're going to go and relabel the whip to A, and we will relabel the whip to B, or sorry, the sling to B. That's not the button I wanted to hit, although, no, it really isn't the button I wanted to hit. I don't want to train slings. I just want to set equal to B. So I can toggle between the two here, and we could turn on the training for the whips. And ideally later on, we'll, you know, demon wits or some damn thing, I don't know. I'll hold off for now. We'll keep going for the earth training. But yeah, we can look, like, the slings are insane. Hey, that's nice. Slings are insane early on for the damage. We may as well wear the cloak. Yeah, go ahead and keep equipping it. It's going to be fine. I keep hitting the wrong button. There we go. Spell. So when things are far away, I will tab them and often kill them. You might not be alone. Now, it's fairly early in the dungeon to get a really big, kind of scary orc pack. On the other hand, actually solo orcs are so rare. Oh my god, we found some gloves too. Now, we really don't have to worry about... Okay, that's invisible. That's got to be a wizard. Yeah, wizards are a little bit more early. We don't have to worry about asps? What are those snakes called? Vipers? No, it's none of those. Anyway, those poison snakes, we don't have to worry about them as a gargoyle because we are 100% immune to poison, which is kind of amazing. We're going to kill you. We're going to make sure to turn on auto pickup. And there's still a wizard going around, but we'll deal with him soon. Throw a rock, throw a spell. I would love those gloves. We'll break line of sight. Yeah, he's hitting us with poison needles. We don't care. Hello, Siggy. Okay, let's go and bring you here. I mean, the poison eels can still do damage, but they can't poison us, which means we're really not terribly intimidated. We could go around blowgunning people, but I think I'm happy with the hunting sling. I really want to go and snag these. I should have manually walked here. Uncursed enchanted pair of gloves. Boom. The funny thing is we're not that worried about wearing cursed things because we get extra piety, but most likely it would be cursed and have negative stats. So I'm not feeling like I can take Sigmund. I want to keep exploring more of this level though. I'd love that scroll, but I'm gonna wander away from where we saw him. We found another staircase, so we've got another escape mechanism there. We'll want to pick up all those stones for Sandblast. And again, if we can get some bullets, that would be particularly nice, because then we would consume any of our stones with the sling. We'd probably switch to the bullets right away. Or would we even? I don't know. Zap, zap. Okay, come here. Come here. A little bit of gold. Hit you with a Sandblast. We could peek at these stairs down. How far are we from leveling up? 71%? That's not bad. We might be able to get one more level before we face Sigmund. Because the thing is, there's a fair chance. I don't think we ever killed that wizard, did we? There's a fair chance that we can take him. So we can now scry through walls. I'm trying to remember what that does. Provides astral sight, allowing you to see through walls. Instantaneous. I think, does it have a little duration? Ashen Zari. Scry. When active, all walls are transparent for you, but not monsters. You can't smite target through them, though. So it costs some food, costs some piety, costs some magic points, but while it's on, you can see through walls, which makes combining pass wall with Ash particularly nice because you know exactly what you're going to get into. And our spell failure chance is pretty high right now because of our armor. I am going to go ahead and poke down these stairs, or peek down these stairs. Kill the Adder, which is the name I couldn't remember. I kept going Ass, was like, I feel like it starts with an A, but I don't know. Peek down here. And we did hit level 5. This is interesting. These two act as a pair. When one gets killed, the other one kind of goes berserk. Killing down one first is particularly dangerous because Duvess's berserk is a lot more dangerous than his state. One of them will follow you up the stairs. I don't think this is the right time to take this though. Oh, that's the other stair that we had just seen. So it's not very far away from them. So then the question becomes, do we take Sigmund or do we just keep going down? We might be able to try him. We don't know what any of our scrolls are. We don't know about our remove curse, which is interesting. So tell you what, let's read the stack of 3 here. There's a good chance it's identify. Excellent. We'll identify the stack of 2. That's resistance. So M for identify here. Brown potion. Heal wounds. Okay, having access to heal wounds is great. Lignification is really not going to be super useful for us because we don't care about the R poison while doing that. It does boost your AC, but I think our AC is going to be okay. All right, I'm just going to keep auto-exploring over here. Now, it's worth noting, there might be more than just Sigmund on this floor, and we'd rather not fight more than one thing at a time. Okay, so what's your deal, man? Oh, right, you can confuse us. That's why you're so goddamn dangerous. Still, I'm going to try it. What is your actual AC? Yeah, you've got no real AC, which means that hitting you with Sandblast is going to be great. Okay, you got hit. And hit again, you keep dodging afterwards, which I'm kind of okay with, as long as you don't confuse me. But there we go. That's all right. I think we're going to put a cut in here. I'm very pleased with that. I think our start's going okay. I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes. See you next time, folks. Bye-bye.